turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
They just go with the flow. It's the Herschy and Keegs Show.
Welcome to Herschy and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. I think I know what that means.
What is it?
That means it is the Herschy and the Keegs Show.
Yeah.
Coming at you from Gov's Comedy Podcast Radio Satellite Studio.
Correct.
We're happy to be here. Thank you all for listening. Mike Keegan, Mark Hirschman, Tony Walker. We got some guests. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We got a packed house.
We got a lot going on tonight. We have our dear friend, octogenarian Christopher Monty, for maybe his third, fourth visit back. Welcome, Chris Monty.
Thanks.
On a Zoom link, we have the great Vanessa Hollingshead. We might have Joe Bubblewitz, but we don't know yet. He's having a little bit of technical difficulty. But we are going to be discussing Married, Single, and a Baby, their show that's sweeping the nation. Before we do that, we're going to do a quick run through the beginning sponsors, and then we're gonna pull up Vanessa and maybe Joe as well. The Herschy and the Keegs Show, boys. It's brought to you by Sophia Jewelry at 134 Gardners Avenue, right here in Levittown, specializing in diamonds, vintage jewelry. Go see Omid for all of your buying and selling of jewelry, and mention Herschy and the Keegs for a free appraisal. Of course, we have our dear friends over at Platinum Chiropractic. Dr. Kimberly O'Connor is fully dedicated to providing chiropractic solutions to address your unique needs, whether you're experiencing back pain, neck pain, headaches, muscle tightness, or tension. 516-935-3555 and call them with confidence. Of course, we have New View Construction. They were established in 2007, and they are the people to call for their finest craftsmanship and all of your general contracting needs. Call 516-924-5627 and do it with confidence. And, of course, American Restoration Solutions, Keegan's favorite, Keith Dunn. He's the man. He gets it done when disaster strikes, and it will. They'll guide you to recovery. Call 516-662-9377 and ask for Senior Account Manager Keith Dunn.
Get her done.
And with
That's
no further ado,
that's his catchphrase.
We are honored to have Vanessa Hollingshead here with Christopher Monty. Of course, they have a big show coming up November 1st at the Brokerage Comedy Club in Belmore.
That's this Saturday.
It is this Saturday. Married, single, and a baby. Hello, Miss Hollingshead. How are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you. Hey, Vanessa. It's Keegan. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I hadn't been at Governor's for years, and Mike said, I'm doing this little show in the Giggle Room. Would you like to close the show? And from there, I started working at Governor's so much. So I have Mike to always thank for kind of opening the doors back up for me.
It's my honor.
That's pretty good. Mike's not much of a giver, so the fact that he did that is really, that's fantastic.
If you were as nice as Vanessa, maybe you would get something.
Listen, we don't want to go through the list of things I've done for you in your life. You're still going because of me, okay, young fella? What I want to know, and certainly I'll be there on Saturday. I know Mikey, if he's open, he'll be there too.
I'll be there right after my show.
Okay, good. What I want to know, Vanessa Hollingshead.
Joe was here, by the way.
Yeah, Joe Bubs is here. Joe made it.
Joe's got no video yet.
No camera, but he's here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe Bub. We just got to have you hit that video button. So there's a little camera on the left, so you can go and hit it so we can see your face as well. Joe Bubs, we're getting closer.
This is Joe Bubowitz, ladies and gentlemen, a good friend of mine as well.
Yeah,
welcome.
This is modern technology for an old guy.
Dude, man, this technology is going to be the death of me.
No.
Chris. Is Chris just going to be on the phone?
No, I'm in the studio with them, Vanessa.
He's here too.
Oh, you're in the studio.
We're working on. She only has this camera. She can only see you two. She can't see.
Okay. Oh, she can't see me. That's why. They don't have the camera on me, Vanessa.
I swear to God, Chris is here.
Hold on a second. If you give it a second, his nose is going to come into the screen in about 3 seconds. It's gonna crawl in. We'll give Joe Bub some time to get his video on. In the meanwhile,
dude, I'm trying, man. I clicked on video.
It's all right, Joe Bub. It's okay. We can hear you, and just I'm going to ask Vanessa a question. I didn't
shower today anyway, so this is good.
That's fine. That makes 5 of us.
Mike Keegan, what's up, brother?
Not too much. How are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Man, I miss you.
I miss you too, dude.
Vanessa,
we'll see in the summertime. I have to get you back at the Surflight.
Oh man, I did his show at the Surflight Theater.
Where's that?
It's
South Jersey.
South Jersey.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I stayed at Joe's house. We hung out.
Wow.
We had some meatballs. We ate some meatballs. It was amazing.
Well, listen, after the edibles he gives you, you need to eat
right.
something.
You can eat anything, exactly.
I love that.
Hey, it keeps me young.
Yep.
You know, my first question is for Vanessa. For those who don't know, and I can't imagine many who don't know, Vanessa Hollingshead is an extremely accomplished comic. Just for Laughs, she was on the Jim Brewer Show. Funny Women of, what was the name of the show?
Funny Women of a Certain Age.
Funny Women of a Certain Age. So I'm curious, I don't know the derivation of this married, single, and a baby, but I'm curious that they came to you and they said, you're going to be on this show with Chris Monty. Was your first reaction like, is this a Make-A-Wish thing? Like, tell me exactly what your reaction was.
I was thinking, this is, am I ever going to meet somebody? Because I talk to, I'm fun.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
loyal.
Pretty.
Easy on the eye, absolutely.
Easy on the eyes.
And I've been in a lot of recovery programs, so of course I'll blame myself, and I'm a cheap date because I don't drink, and it's like, what is going on? And when they said we're thinking of doing married, single, and a baby, I'm like, well, I'm definitely single, and my friends are like, we'll start gardening. I don't want to garden. The boy won't say, how is your work? How is the ship? It's not. I don't know where women think that they're so self-contained. I love men. I like to hang out on a couch with a guy watch some serial killer show. My favorite.
Sure.
Just let me know when to come over. I'll be there.
Okay.
The fact that you don't drink is great. My wife's Irish. She costs me about $1,000 a month.
Vanessa, who came up with the idea? Was it you, Chris?
I think it was Joe. Joe called both
Joe
of us.
Bubs, yeah.
Well, I got married. I got married for the first time at the age of 55 years old. And that's how it popped in my head, because most of my material is writing about me getting, for the first time. I had a good run, 55 years. It was time.
Yeah.
And we were dating. My wife and I were dating during COVID. and we were spending a lot of time together. We were getting along. People were dying. I'm like, I guess this is time to get married. I don't know.
It sounds
we got married, man. That was it. We didn't even know. We had like 4 people at the wedding during COVID. It was crazy.
So you got married at 55. If you follow the Chris Monty, story of love, you'll be having a baby in about 5 years.
Yeah, no, man. God help me. Step kids are enough for me. Thank you very much.
All right, good. Very good.
I wasn't even the first choice for the show. He had this show set up with another comic, and then that comic got something, and he called me. He goes, "I got this show."
Oh shit! Was it Ben Bailey again?
No, Ben Bailey.
How you gonna make you feel bad?
No. I'm glad that it worked out that way. But no, it was actually, I could say the comic's name, right? Wasn't it Mike Somerville?
Mike Somerville, yeah.
Great comic.
Oh, you guys, you definitely should have gotten him.
I tell you though, man, I'm being biased, but it's a great show. Every show that we've done so far, we've done the Emmaus Theater, we're doing the Pittman Theater, we did the Comedy Cabaret in Doylestown. I mean, every place we've done a show, they're going to have us back.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a can't miss show. You guys are all phenomenal.
It's a 3 headline show, relationship themed, 3 different points of view. So some people don't know what it is when they just see the title.
But you guys are on stage together or
no? We're not on stage together. So it's 3 separate. It's like when Vanessa did Funny Women of a Certain Age. It was just a couple of headline female comedians, and they all were talking about different points of view from where they are in their stage of life. Whatever. Yeah, sure. That's basically the show. Like Vanessa's single, looking for love. Joe's married late. I'm married late with kids.
Right.
So it's
gotcha,
relatable to everybody.
Listen,
hey, Mon, flying off the cuff. What do you think about doing something at the end of the show, having like a question and answer? Like we're all done, we go up on stage and do a question and answer.
What do you think about that, Mark? At the end of our stand-up show,
I think it would be
like a Q&A with the crowd.
I think it would bring a different dimension to the show.
I certainly think it's a great idea, and I may be a little bit biased, but the first time I ever performed comedy 15 years ago was at the Brokerage in Belmore. I don't think there's a better room for comedy anywhere. The intimacy of the room, the way, even if there's 50 people or 200 people, it feels just the same. It's an incredible room.
Very
the staff's there. Staff is great. The ownership. So obviously, it's going to be a great night on Saturday. I'm super stoked to be there. I'm available. I'm going to be around. I'm going to come by and see you guys.
And it's an early show. It's 7 p.m. So you can hang out afterwards, go somewhere, and you get the clocks to go back that night.
Oh,
so you get
right?
an extra hour of sleep on Sunday.
Turn your clocks back, they said, Mike. Yeah, clocks back.
Clock.
So
thank God you told me. I would have ended up in the hospital.
Again, yeah, exactly.
At least we got the headshot of Joe Bob.
There we go. That's what he looks like.
Does it usually work out where it's the same order? You guys do half, and half? What are you guys doing? What's the derivation, the makeup of the show?
It's usually 30-30-30.
Okay.
Right, Mom?
Yeah, and it's Joe, Vanessa, me, boy, girl, boy. I have no problem having it Joe, me, whatever, and Vanessa go last because she's so hard to follow.
She's a killer.
She's such a killer.
She's a killer. But you guys are all killers.
Her German porn is tough to follow.
It's very hard to follow German porn.
I did a show with Eric Half this summer, and I guess Vanessa must have done that
tough
show
to follow
last
also,
year.
Eric Half.
That's true. But I was doing a show with him this summer. I think Vanessa must have done it last year, and these people were just raving about Vanessa's act and the German porn bit, just to be specific also.
Just for that alone, people buy tickets to come out to the brokerage.
I'm like, how can I tap? You get to a point, you're like, how do I tap the German porn? I mean, what am I going to do now? The French-German porn,
You got to close with it. You can't follow it.
Story. I found my boyfriend's porn, and it was in a Gap bag. And I was like, this is pretty racy, And that kind of developed a bit.
Do you three have a history? I mean, I saw a recent video. You guys were like, you were hanging out on the dock somewhere.
That's Joe Bubowitz's backyard on the water. Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, these three, they look like they just love each other and been around each other forever. Do you guys does this troika have a history together, or just friends?
I met Chris Mont, man. I don't know. What are we saying? 15, 20
No,
years
maybe
ago,
20 years ago here.
Okay.
I was the MC. Joe was the middle. And maybe 20 some odd years ago here at Governor's in Levittown.
Okay.
That's where I met Joe. And then we would run into each other at different gigs in Jersey and here and there over the years. And then we hadn't seen each other for a while. And then all of a sudden, he started booking some shows down in South Jersey. He had put me on them. Yep. And then he came up with this idea. And I hadn't seen Vanessa in a while either. I met Vanessa years ago. And then funny enough, I ran into Vanessa before this was even an idea during the pandemic when we had nothing to do. What's his name was running an open mic, which wasn't really supposed to be open.
Oh, was that Perillo?
Perillo was running an open mic on like a Monday night,
Yeah.
and I go there with Rich Walker just to get out of the house.
Just to get
and
a
who's
little
sitting
time
at the
out.
bar?
And Vanessa was
Vanessa.
there? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was all comics, and we were just telling jokes to each other, but we had to do something.
Yep.
Hey, Vanessa, you know what? We didn't meet for a long time, but every time I was at the Brewha Comedy Club, your picture was always, remember at the one in Hartford, Connecticut,
Yep.
John Schuler's room?
Yeah, I love
And
that.
your picture was always on the wall at that. And I'm like, one of these days I'm going to meet her. There you go. See, now we're doing a show together.
It's great.
I remember that club because on the menu it said comics can order anything off the menu except the steak.
Except the filet mignon.
Exactly.
Or the lobster tails.
You guys,
But
what?
you know what? Those short ribs were to die
Yes.
for. Were to die
The ahi
for.
tuna.
Yeah,
It's good
there
too.
you go.
And then
Yeah.
I had the I remember it like it was yesterday. Then I had the cheesecake, the cheesecake when you fry cheesecake.
Ooh, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
It was so.
It was a great club when it was in its golden
Yeah.
years.
Vanessa, what's been the feedback so far? I mean, you guys haven't been doing the show for that long. What kind of response have you been getting from the audience?
We've been getting nothing but such great positive responses, and it's such a great. And, I talk about being single, but I also talk about a lot of other things, just being a woman in New York, basically being a woman in New York City. And you would have thought I would have maybe met somebody at the show, or maybe, nothing. It's like, guys, I'm not going to make fun of your penis. I'll be glad to see it. I don't know what they're afraid
Vanessa,
of.
but if you meet somebody, we're gonna have to take you off the show.
That's right.
And then you're not gonna be able to hang out with me or
Then
Chris.
I can't do the show. I can't be married, met somebody, and a baby.
Met somebody and a baby.
We'll take you on a road, and you can do one night stands, and we won't tell.
Just do your single act. I don't care what you do once you get back to your hotel. I don't care what
Married,
you do.
fooling around, and a baby.
I did meet somebody
There
that I
you go.
liked. I told them both. They said, "Listen, I met somebody I liked," and I wait a second. I'm not going to get divorced. And then Chris was like, "I'm not going to give up my kids." So I said, "I haven't had 65 years."
Yeah, where's your sense of dedication? Come on.
Exactly, yeah.
We're just getting this thing off the ground.
This is the only reason Monty had kids.
Dedicated. Didn't work out. I'm back to dedication.
Only reason I had
Hey,
kids, I was running out of
guys, I had a
material.
lot of fun. Remember when you guys came to the beach house and we did some videos? I had a blast, man. Some of those I have a lot of more ideas, so we got to do that again when the weather turns. We'll do some more videos.
That's the one downfall, Mark, to the show is that we all live so far apart. Well, Vanessa and I aren't that far apart.
so-
She's in the city.
She's in the city. Joe, you're in Jersey now. Is that right?
He's in South Jersey.
Yeah, I'm down at Long Beach Island.
Oh,
LBI.
geez, Louise. Okay.
So anytime
Yeah.
like we want to get together, you know how you got to put content out, constantly
Yeah,
put content
of
out
course.
for Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook and all that. We try to bang out as many videos as we can when we're together.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But then it's like as soon as you leave, you come up with 20 more ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's
Maybe we
it.
should have T-shirts called the Duck Posse.
Yeah, he's got the ducks in his backyard.
No, I loved how the duck played a nice little role in that video the other day where you guys posted and all of a sudden you guys were bullshitting
Yeah.
and the duck started quacking.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah,
pretty
you gotta
cute.
feed him sweet. You gotta feed him sweet corn for that to happen. That's how the magic happens.
I love that. What were you going to say, Mikey? You had
I
something
was
to
gonna say, if you're gonna
about-
get together for some place to make content, Bub's Beach House is awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely in the
beautiful.
summertime.
So Bub's Beach, that's your primary residence, right, Bubs? You live in the beach house.
Yeah, we bought about 6 or 7 years ago, thank God, because now the prices are like, insane. So I got kind of fortunate. So I bring the Wayward comics in and we have fun. Man, I had Richie Byrne here, and the show was done at 9 o'clock, and I'm usually in bed by 10 o'clock. We were on the bottom portion of my duck by the water like 1 o'clock in the morning, just doing all sorts of interesting drugs.
And Lord knows he didn't bring anything with him. We know that.
We
So
know-
Richie Byrne.
We know that cheap Irish bastard ain't bringing a bottle of scotch.
I started with Richie 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Richie and I go way back. Yeah, I'm probably 30 years. Yeah, that long ago.
So, speaking of different type of drugs, I don't know if Monty knows this or Keegs or Tony, but Vanessa comes from a very interesting background. Are you familiar with Vanessa's dad's history at all, by any chance?
Yeah. Yep.
So for our audience who doesn't know, and I hope you're okay talking about it, but your dad was it's good for you, yeah?
Yeah, cue Cue the psilocybin.
Your dad, which I didn't know this until doing some prep for the show, that your dad was a British researcher who was responsible for introducing Paul McCartney to different types of LSD and psychedelic drugs. Wow, that's something else. Tell us a little bit about that, Vanessa, what you know about it.
He was a researcher in drugs and alcohol. Okay, he was a writer.
We're all researchers.
We're all doing our research.
He did give Timothy Leary his first hit of LSD, and Timothy didn't want to take it. And he said, "Listen, if you don't take this, I'm going to kill myself. I will just kill myself. You've got to try this LSD." And Tim Leary's wife had committed suicide, so he's like, "This crazy English guy, just get him to my place." And he took the acid, and everything changed. And then eventually, Paul was able to give it to Paul McCartney, but he kind of was obscured, and Leary became the big, the icon.
Yeah.
He became the icon. So
that is so.
And let me tell you something. How blessed I am.
I took like 9 or 10 hits of acid when I was 5, and I remember telling my dad, "Weren't you afraid I'd get brain damage?" He goes, "Well, you didn't. It might have helped you."
That's fantastic.
I get to Vanessa because she's city comic. She doesn't have a car. She'll take the train to me, and I'll take her to the gigs. So on the way to and way home from gigs, I get to hear these amazing stories that she has to tell.
Yeah,
she's got amazing stories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get to hear Frank Sinatra and jazz. It's beautiful. I love it.
She likes it though. Unlike Marco makes fun of it.
Right. How does it feel to be spending time with your grandfather? How does that
feel? Cool, baby.
But it's just so obvious, and I guarantee you that without seeing the show, that the audience feels this, that you guys have a really nice bond between you. Hopefully this show continues to take off. What are some dreams, some visions that you guys have? What are some plans you want for the show?
Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix, Showtime.
I think we're doing a show. I just booked this back at the Surflight Theater in September of next year. And it's a nice, cozy. It's about a 440-seat venue, and it normally sells out. So, my game plan is to get somebody over at Netflix and go, "Hey, why don't you guys come down and take a look at this show?" Because I've seen some of the stuff on Netflix. Some of it's good. Some of it is not so good.
Yeah, this show is just a home run.
I've come up with some ideas about doing that for Netflix. So have a special, us do, 20 do an hour show, and then, next we'll Jed's a millionaire.
I mean,
just blow up enough to be touring and making money on the show, or
even
just sell the name so we could all sit home and have somebody else do Married.
Yeah, exactly.
We can just collect the checks.
Married,
So you have not done Governors in Bohemia yet, the McGuire's.
We haven't done any of the clubs. So the plan is to lay the groundwork and get into the brokerage on this Saturday, have a nice show, and then hopefully maybe work with the great people here of Governors and do one of the theaters on the island with them or something like that.
Book some great
but we'd still love to do it as well when Levittown reopens or out in Bohemia.
Well, I mean, obviously, if the market
less driving for Chris,
right.
I can sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, but you have Bohemia, which is a little bit of a different market than Levittown, Belmore. So maybe in a few months, if there's an opportunity for you guys, you'd be willing to do it over there. That's terrific. And Bubs was kind of nice about it, but I have found in the past couple of years that some of the content that's been put out on Netflix is kind of
awful,
not so good. This is obviously fresh, and I would assume, just based on your resume, Vanessa, that you probably still have enough credence, credibility in the business to hopefully reach out to some of those hooks and see if they'll take a look at this great show.
Yes, I would love to be able to be in a position to do that. It's gotten so incredibly expensive, and there's so much red tape to get through. I would actually need an industry person to push this show through. A big industry person, not just anybody. Somebody that would know somebody from Netflix to say, "Hey, just look at this show. It's a great theme show. It hits every market. It hits every person."
And before you meet the person, just give them a little psilocybin, and then you sit down and talk to them.
Or ayahuasca.
Give them 3 hits of
ayahuasca. There you go.
It's Starbucks. Yeah.
And Vanessa, you've been clean for how long now? You've been clean for a while. Is that correct?
I've been clean for quite some time. It's coming up on 3.5 years. I had been sober for almost 16 years, and then when my husband died, Lucian Holt, who was the artistic director of the comic strip. I was sober for a while, and then I lost my sobriety, and then it was, it was relapsing a fair amount, and I eventually had to go to a rehab, eventually had to get on antabuse. I mean, I didn't even think I had a problem with drinking, and I was basically just, like wine, like red wine. It slowed everything down, but everything they said. So I make recovery kind of number one, and then everything else seems to take care of itself.
Well, thank God. So hanging out with Joe Bubs and Monty, how does that?
If she doesn't have the strength hanging out with these two alcoholics.
I have the cookies and the decaf. I bring my tea, and if there's like treats, I'm fine.
Joe brings nuts and dried berries.
I do. Yeah.
I sit there and I eat nuts and dry berries.
But really, she eats them, but they really. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got some. I'll bring some special nuts for you. That doesn't sound good, but
bring your nuts on Saturday.
What I was gonna say is the nuts and dry berries really so that you and me, when we leave the bar, we can find our way back to the car. But she eats them all on us.
What are the plans? Are you guys going to meet up, have a little dinner before the show? You're going to?
It's an early show, so I haven't even spoke to Miss Hollingshead about what time the train, and we'll schedule that. We'll do that this week. But
so she'll come to Valley Stream and Elmont, something like that.
I'm sleeping over Mike Keegan.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. I got to return the favor.
Ride to the club from one of my friends that's going. That's from Long Island.
Oh, you're going to get a ride? Okay, we'll talk.
You're off the hook. She lives in Massapequa. She's going to pick me up. We're going to get there early.
Karen?
They do have food. No,
Heather? You talking about Heather?
Heather, little Heather Learman.
She's my coworker. You know that we worked together, her and I, for the past few months. Yes. Isn't that a strange twist of fate?
Wow, look at this. Greatest girls around.
She's a great person. And so, I work in my day job. We hired someone new a few months ago, and her name was Heather. And at some point in conversation, she says, I'm very close friends with Vanessa Hollingshead. And here we go. So just like that.
And I'm bringing my wife and my father to the show, so I will not be there on time. Right. My wife, if I tell her we have to leave at this time, it'll be 20 minutes later than that. Then I leave.
All right, so no big dinner plans, and Vanessa's taken care of, so she's going to be there fine. Joe Bub is going to bring his nuts, and he'll be there.
He travels with berries and
nuts. Joe and his nuts will be there.
Bob,
my wife might make them.
I was going to say, will Mrs. Bubs be there with you?
Yeah, she's contemplating.
Great.
It's a long drive, man. I got like a 2.5-hour drive. So if it was close by, she would definitely come. Like we got a club down in South Jersey, the Pittman Theater, in a couple weeks. Which I checked those numbers. We're over like a 280, 290 for that one.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's 30 minutes from my area. So she'll probably go to that club. This is just she's gonna spend 5 hours in a car with me. I wouldn't recommend not doing that with anybody.
You and your nuts. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll just bring my pistachios. They don't argue with me.
I met his wife. She is one of the sweetest women you could imagine. Like you just feel good. She's somebody that she's spiritual without being spiritual. When people act, when you feel better after you've spent some time with someone, that's the quality she has. And she knows how to decorate and make everything look beautiful. I have a very special place in my heart for Joanne.
Yeah, and she loves you too. She said that when she first met you too. You guys were.
Wait a second. So she's Joe Bubs also, Joanne? Is that right?
Joe and Joe.
Joe and Joe Bubs. I love that.
I met Joanne, I believe, at that show in Allentown, New Jersey.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you remember that?
The one you went to the wrong state for?
Probably my favorite road story.
Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
Who comes there. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a show November 29th there, and believe me, that story comes up all the time.
Absolutely.
I thought you guys are screwing around. We're like,
when you were on the phone with Richie, and you're like,
for the show.
Yeah, you're on the phone with Richie. You're messing with me,
and it was like 20 minutes before the show.
Yeah,
and Richie Byrne goes, "Yeah, we just checked into the hotel." I go, "To hotel?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "We're in Allentown, Pennsylvania." I thought he was fucking with me. He goes, "No, Allentown, New Jersey." He goes, "The show's in Allentown, New Jersey."
Yep.
I go, "Oh my god!" And the owners look at me. It's a sold out crowd. They're ready to go.
How far is it away from Allentown?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. You're lucky.
Yeah, but we still wouldn't have made it. So he ended up having to replace us.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So the audience got lucky too.
The audience got lucky on that one.
They were both to Catch a Rising Star.
They dodged the bullet.
They were able to drop what they did, and they came to the show. And
yep.
I was supposed to host that show. I had the headline.
Exactly.
And because of Richie and Mike, every time I get booked for that gig with Joe Bubowitz, he 17 times a day he will call you and go, "It's Allentown, New Jersey. Allentown, New Jersey."
Yeah, because idiot us got a hotel room in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
We just checked into the hotel.
Yeah, and I never met Keegs before, so we were off to a bad start.
Yeah,
exactly. He hated me. Yeah, exactly.
I've known him for 14 years, and I feel the same.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Good.
Right.
I love that. Well, listen, we thank you guys for coming on. I will see you there. Mikey will see you there on Saturday. Married, Single, and a Baby, Vanessa Hollingshead, Joe Bubowitz, Chris Monty. Get your tickets, govs.com at the Brokerage Comedy Club Saturday, November 6th.
No, November 1st.
November 1st. Oh, my show's November 6th.
November 1st, 7 p.m.
November 1st, 7 p.m. Get your tickets. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate both of your time, and we'll see you on Saturday night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Yep, have a great show.
Thank you, guys.
Take
care.
care.
You'll
Good night.
see them. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you'll actually see Joe Bub this time. It won't just be a picture.
We just put a cardboard cutout of him up there.
He
and
moves
does a
around in real
voiceover.
life.
I love it. Thanks, guys. Have a
you
good
so
one.
much, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm super stoked. Where's your? Okay, good.
You really
Very good.
coming?
I'll be there. Yeah. No, I'm gonna. No, I've said it for. I had it in my calendar.
You get to see the wife. You get to see my wife will be out for the night.
Well,
so.
now you know why I'm coming.
You know who else is coming?
Who else is coming?
I don't know. Maybe somebody.
Oh boy, jeez Louise. You know what? Let's hit up our second set of sponsors real quick, okay, Tone? When you're ready, we got Eric Haft and Sunray Services. Now is the best time to convert to hybrid heating and cooling. Call them today at 631-231-5533. Visit them online at www.sunrayservices.com. Our newest sponsor, God, we love these people. North Belmore Collision, 2734 North Jerusalem Road in North Belmore. Our guy Ami, 516-785-4862. Call him anytime, 24/7. He will respond to you, guaranteed. We meet by accident. They work with all major insurance companies. They'll give you a free estimate, and they are very good people, and people rave about their work. So please contact them with confidence. Of course, we have the good folks over at Dimitri's Valet Cleaners. They are the biggest name in dry cleaning in Levittown, Wantaw Avenue. They have been there for since 1965. They take your garment care seriously. Quality is their policy. Mention Hershey and the Keegs for 15% off your purchase. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an equation here. Okay. Someone goes in there and they have $100 order, and then they're going to say, well, Hershey and the Keegs sent me, I'm getting 15% off. What is going to be the reduction?
So you get $135 off.
$135 off of $100 purchase.
They'll give you $35.
Correct. You get a cash back award.
Yep.
Perfect. Demo specialist, our man Scott Advapsky, 1-855-RIP-OUTS. The number you call for demolition, dumpsters, and fence rental. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They are a fully licensed demolition contractor. And of course, last but not least, the beautiful New York State licensed real estate person, Diane Keegan.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah, she's the best.
From my favorite person.
I mean,
right.
she's all of our
I'm here
favorite
too,
persons.
guys.
From All Island Estates Realty Corporation, you can call Diane directly at 516-458-1864, or you can email her directly at diane@allislandestates.com. If you're looking to rent, sell, buy, foster, or adopt, make Diane your first call. That wraps up our Hershey and the Keegs sponsors. We appreciate you guys. In a couple of minutes, we're anticipating, it's interesting, we're going from one upbeat, exciting type of thing to a little bit of a somber note, and this certainly affected all of us. Even you as a Bills fan, Tony a Jet fan, Monty a diehard Jet fan like myself. Word came down a couple of days ago that number 74, the Jets' legendary center Nick Mangold, passed away at 41 years old, which really, I mean, we were all shook by it, obviously. This is a guy that we watched religiously. Again, even you as a Bills fan.
Yeah, I've watched him. I've watched him practice. I watched him. They used to have dinner at Major Steakhouse on Thursday nights, all the linemen from the Jets.
Yeah.
So we used to go there and see them, and he was the nicest guy on the planet.
And you used to tell me that you would just sit at the table and they thought you were one of the linemen.
Exactly. Yeah. They had no idea.
So it was like Mangold, DeBrickashaw, DeKeegashaw.
The Keegashaw Ferguson.
Yeah. So it really just sucks, man. I mean, so anyway, just kind of spontaneously last minute yesterday, with the help of our boy Big A Anthony Stabile, who's a former New York Post columnist, he reached out as per my request to Mark Cannizzaro, who's a longtime legendary New York sports reporter for the New York Post. So we threw it together quick, hoping he punches up at 9:35. Either way, we're going to talk about Mangold just because when people ask us, Mike, what this show is about, from the beginning we've said it's about, well, we're comics, so there's always going to be a funny element to it. But what we love most...
That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here, the funny element, obviously. But we're comics. We're sports junkies through and through. We love our families, so we talk about all that stuff. But, when you're a sports junkie like we are, and you take a hit like this, you feel it. I mean, certainly for me and Monty and I were talking about it. This is a guy we watched every fucking Sunday for how many years? 10 years, I guess?
He was 11 seasons with the Jets. And how rare is it for a guy to play his whole career for the Jets?
Yeah, that's right.
And I had season tickets from 87 to 2010. So I was like one of those guys that I didn't miss, any Sunday. Even now, even though it's been a rough last decade of Jets football, I still get up on Sunday, throw my jersey on, watch. My wife's like, "Well, you gonna waste your Sunday watching this game?" And I'm like, I can't look away. It's like it's been inbred into me my whole life. But when you lose a guy like Kevin Mawai, who we had for a while,
that's right,
who was a Hall of Fame center
before
Nick, and then you go, how are we gonna replace Kevin Mawai? And then they draft Mangold, and he turns out to be everything we thought he was gonna be and more.
And not just on the field, off the field.
And off the field, just as well. I never met him, but I know nothing but positive things about him.
I got to meet him a few times, and I used to go to the practices because that was when they were practicing right over at Hofstra over here. And just the nicest guy in the world. He would pick up every kid, sign autographs. Just a big, lovable, giant teddy bear of a man. And then he'll tear your ass apart on the field.
Yep.
We talk about this a lot, and certainly... very often when someone in the media, celebrity type, passes, there's almost a little bit of a revisionist history, and all of a sudden people tend to forget what the bad things were. But I have heard in the past couple of days since his passing nothing but heartfelt, deep-rooted, like, this is devastating. Like, you never heard a bad word about this guy. He was a family guy with little kids.
Yeah, 4 children.
4 little kids. And again, I guess he's kind of settled down in this area. I believe he was living in either Jersey or Long Island. Is that correct, I believe?
Long Island.
Yeah. So, but you hear, and... I'm sure we all saw Rex Ryan on his morning show.
I cried watching that.
I mean, we all did. He broke down, and that wasn't any hyperbole. That wasn't an act. He loved that kid. And when Rex was the coach, Mangold was a kid. He was fresh out of Ohio State. I think he had him from the age of 22 to 28, maybe, something like that, Monty?
He was there, 6 seasons, I think Rex was?
And all 6, he had Mangold.
Yeah.
And
you're developing that kid like a parent.
So that's right. So you're not just developing a player, but you're in charge of that kid on road trips and things like that. And I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure you did, but what Rex Ryan was talking about, how his last game when he knew he was on the way to get fired and Mangold was hurt and he was not playing, and Mangold went to him and said, I'm playing in this game. And it was directly because of the fact that it was going to be his coach's last game.
Yeah.
And that just speaks so much volume about what kind of guy, what kind of player this was.
Yeah.
Right.
And, listen, you hear about a guy who's 92 years old that played, and it's sad that you hear that they pass, but you hear a guy like fucking
the prime of his life.
41 years old.
I mean,
what is it, 2 weeks ago he posted on social media that he was going through this and he was looking for a kidney.
I know, and I was watching it. I was so sad.
Yeah,
I
shared it on
nobody
Facebook.
can give this guy a kidney. I was like, I wish I would have known earlier. I would have said, test me, you know?
Yeah. No, if I would have known earlier, I would have asked him to test Keegan. But my thing is, like, if he did that 2 weeks ago, he must have known that he was desperate beyond desperate.
At the last,
last straw.
Yeah. But we've heard other athletes make pleas like this, and you almost have like an assumption that, all right, well, they're gonna, they'll hold on with dialysis.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's got money, connections.
And what it shows you, Mike, is that money doesn't mean a goddamn thing. When the good Lord wants to go ahead and do what he wants to do, all the money in the world doesn't change anything. You know, and so God only knows just how sick he really was to make a plea like that. And my hunch is he probably was encouraged by family and friends to make the plea sooner, and he didn't want to because that's the kind of guy that he was. And ultimately, he went ahead and 2 weeks. I mean, geez, Louise. Like I heard about. I was totally blindsided by it. You knew about what happened 2 weeks ago, but you weren't expecting that on Monday.
No,
you weren't expecting that.
Didn't they say he was diagnosed like 2006 or something?
Well, he had is it an underlying congenital kidney disease?
I think they knew that he had something. I don't know if they.
Okay.
But he was definitely diagnosed with something years ago.
Right,
yeah.
But still, 41 years old, same age as me.
And he definitely, from the other side, willed the Jets to win that game on Sunday.
Yes,
Because I don't know if you watched it, but it was,
Yeah, so do you believe in that stuff? Because I do.
I do.
Yeah. Come on. The Jets this year, they're going to beat Cincinnati?
I think we're going to beat anybody this year.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And they said that somebody ran a total of 7.4 yards for the game, and that was his number.
Oh, really?
I didn't see that, but
Peter
was his
mentioned
number,
that
though.
today.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Peter said that today. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I did not know that, and that is amazing. And yeah, I mean, I would say, knowing the current state of the Jets, there had to be some divine intervention. Involved
if there was,
to win.
if you're ever going to believe in divine intervention,
because they're so freaking bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's so sad, and there's nothing good that comes out. Like, it's just shitty all around.
It's just it's unfair. It's one of those things where you go, it's just unfair. You're 41 years old. You're at the prime of your life. You're retired. You're young. You have young kids. You have a lot going on that you can look forward for after football, and you're and my heart goes out, and you feel bad for the wife and the children, the family,
especially the kids, young kids, and like you said, I'm not a Jet fan. I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah,
but
you watched enough games to know.
I watched enough games, but he also had a presence on Long Island. He embraced New York. He embraced Long Island. He was at Rangers games all the time. Like, he loved New York.
Total sin, and we are certainly honored to have someone who did know him better than any of us. We are very, very proud to welcome New York Post legendary reporter since 1993, the great Mark Cannizzaro. Hi, Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
Thank you so much for coming. We just started touching on it. We had a guest in earlier, but now we just started touching on the passing of Nick Mangold. Just so you know, in studio we have my producer Tony Walker, who's a longtime Jet fan. Me, Mark Hirschman, diehard since 1979. My buddy Mike Keegan and my podcast partner, Bills fan, but got to meet Nick Mangold many times. And we have Chris Monty, national headlining comic and actor, also a diehard Jet fan. So we were just talking about how when the news came down yesterday, the word that we keep on using, that we were shook. And I can only imagine that is probably a similar feeling that you had having a relationship with Nick Mangold. Please tell us from the time that you heard he was sick 2 weeks ago, or obviously in dire straits, to yesterday. Tell us your reactions to what has gone down.
Well, Mark, I was in the press box in Cincinnati with my colleagues, a couple of whom, covered Nick with me as well. And the weird thing, it took my breath away, when I heard the news. And the weird thing was that it didn't sound dire, a couple of weeks prior when he came out and asked for the kidney. And, my colleague Steve Serby from the Post spoke to Nick on the phone. He wrote a column about, his situation.
I saw it, yeah.
And in that column and the things that Nick told Steve, he said he wasn't on a list for a kidney, so that generally means it's not dire, and you can carry on with with dialysis and whatnot. And Nick told he said to Serb that it was more about quality of life and whatnot. So because of that, it just, and maybe again, maybe he was downplaying things with Serb a little bit. I don't know, but. And that was kind of Nick's way anyway. He was, not a real attention seeker, and, was pretty low key about stuff. And that's what really kind of took. He was able to, lead a life, going to dialysis, which was. So obviously none of us knows, what actually happened in the end, why it became maybe. I'm just, 100% speculating. Maybe there's an infection or whatever happened. Yeah. It just didn't seem, there were other players I heard quoted, Willie Colon, a teammate of his, and Damian Woody. I believe both of those guys recently said that, they saw him within the last couple of weeks, and, that he was a little bit weaker than usual in terms of his energy level, but he still looked okay. So I just have to wonder if something, something didn't go wrong. I don't know. I mean, nobody other than his family has the answers to that.
But I completely agree from that statement. It didn't seem like he was in dire straits or that close.
And like we said, and like Mark just said, maybe he was downplaying it. Mark, do you think that the reaction that we had to see from Rex Ryan on ESPN yesterday morning during his show, do you think that kind of epitomized how most people felt about this man? Because that's as raw and emotional as you're going to get from a guy like Rex Ryan. So does that kind of summate what this man was to so many people?
Oh, I definitely think so. I mean, that was as real as it gets with Rex, and much of Rex's success when he was with the Jets, which was early on, those first couple of years when they went to this championship game, Nick was a huge part of that. I mean, they were about the ground and pound and whatnot. So it was Nick and Brick, that came in together, and that entire offensive line of the running game and the defense, and Nick, Nick was so much more in that room. Mark and guys about than football, than just about football. I mean, he kept people loose in there. I know as reporters, he was always a guy you'd stop over to the locker with and just BS a little bit, not about football, but about barbecuing and cooking and he was a big wine guy, you would just kind of chew it with him on that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's the fun part about being a beat writer, with teams. You get to know the players a little bit, because you're in there a lot. You're traveling, not necessarily with them in the same planes, but you see him out and about. And Nick was, he used to have a bathrobe that he used to, he would walk around the locker room in like flip-flops and a bathrobe with his number 74 on it.
So, Mark, you were on the beat from, if I remember correctly, from 93 to 2010. Is that about right?
Well, yeah. I was the beat writer from 93 to 2010, but obviously even beyond that, I covered that. I'm still very close to the team. I started doing columns, after the 10 season, and but basically had been in and around the Jets, and the Giants during that period. But yeah, I mean, I was in there pretty much every day, and Nick was always not only stand up in difficult times and when the team wasn't playing well. And very accountable, but he kept things loose. And he was a huge influence on Mark Sanchez in Mark's first couple of years in 09 and 10. Yeah. Really helped him out a lot. Mark was a raw, 20-year-old when he came in, when he was drafted, and Nick really helped him out a lot. I mean, he was a big brother to Mark, and I've talked to Mark over the years about that back in the day, and I know Mark came out on social media and had some really poignant things to say about Nick.
And some great pictures with Mangold, too, on his social media.
Yeah, well, Mark, one of the things that I was surprised about, I mean, I think we all know that Sanchez recently went through some pretty negative stuff, and I think we all kind of assumed he'd stay in hiding for a while. But the fact that he came out on social media, which he probably had no plan to do, and kind of pour his heart out, again, is just another testament to what kind of impact this man, Nick Mangold, left on Sanchez's life and so many others.
Yeah, it's 100%. Mark is, I'm sure Mark wanted to get his feelings out, and none of us, who know him pretty well, could call him because he's kind of staying away from the media right now, obviously with the legal issues, in play.
Sure. Yeah.
I know Nick came out recently, when the Sanchez stuff broke, and was very, very adamant that just didn't sound like Mark, that something sounded off. And, I would concur with that, not to twist this into a Sanchez conversation, but
yeah.
Know Mark pretty well, and I mean he's just not an aggressive guy like that. So, who knows, when things will come out and whatnot. But, and I'm just literally just speculating. I wasn't there. I haven't spoken to anybody, but it just seemed, and that was kind of the way that Nick spoke about. It just almost seemed like something was off. Whether he, God forbid he was slipped something or there was a drug situation, whatever. I mean, it just, this guy's a pretty docile family man, and. Yeah. Still, I've, had dinner with him over the years, since he finished football and
gone into media. Yeah.
It just sounded, but that was really what Nick's sentiment was, when Serv talked to him about that as well. That just didn't sound right. And who knows what's going to come out, if we ever find out the real truth, but,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those guys were very tight. That was a tight locker room. That offensive line was tight. Brandon Moore was another one, the guard, who was just a quiet, warrior, just a real leader. Obviously Brick was in there, and those guys were, linked, basically linked because they were drafted together.
Sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this was a very, very difficult thing for everybody to take who knows him. And again, when the last time most of us saw him, he was that strapping guy with the big smile. You remember, when he was voted into the Ring of Honor with the Jets, and had his words to the fans down on the field, cracked a beer on
cracked the Bud Light.
Oh,
on
it
the
was
field.
great.
That was the greatest thing.
Unbelievable. Do you think that, and me and Chris and Mike were just talking about this, that very often when someone, whether it be just regularly life or in the media or celebrity, there's a little bit revisionist history about someone and the mark they left. But with this, there doesn't seem to be any of that. It seems like these are really deep and heartfelt remembrances of what was just an all-around wonderful teammate, father, friend, husband, everything. I mean, do you think that's an accurate assessment right there?
Oh, very much so. Nick was exactly who, he was exactly who he was when you saw him. There was no pretense, there was no phoniness about him. I also had an interesting anecdote. I covered the 2012 Olympics in London, and his sister was a weightlifter.
Yes. And
I did a big piece on her there, and spoke to him about her then and how proud he was, because obviously he's pretty, he was a star. Obviously he's a Pro Bowl center in New York City for New York Jets, and he was so fired up for his sister, and how she was doing out there, and what you saw was what you got with Nick. There was no BS, and that's pretty much where you get, the emotion from Rex, on TV on Sunday. That's where that comes from. And he had a really poignant anecdote about, when he was in his last year and Nick was not, he was hurt. And, he pretty much everybody knew that was going to be Rex's last game.
Yeah.
And Nick told Rex, I'm playing, and, you forget about how his durability. I mean, he was, he didn't miss plays, forget about games, this was a guy that was just an Iron Man in there. And, I hope he gets I hope he gets a Hall of Fame look.
Well, I was just going to ask you, Mark. I mean, just if you look at this, is a guy who won a national championship with Ohio State, drafted in the first round with the Jets, 2006, 7-time Pro Bowler, Jets Ring of Honor. He definitely has the pedigree and the resume to deserve a look at the Hall of Fame. If not the first time or second time, by the third or fourth time, hopefully they realize that this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame, no question about it.
Yeah, I would think so. I think between the 7 Pro Bowls, I think he's had 2 All-Pros.
2 All-Pros.
Yep.
And his durability, and he was part of some winning teams over there. He was a big time part of some winning teams and won, 2 AFC championships. So I'll be surprised and disappointed if he doesn't get a really hard, good look, whether it's, this year, next year, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I always hate, when guys, listen, I hope he gets in, but you're always saddened when, if he does get in, that he,
wasn't here to see it,
isn't around to enjoy it.
Yeah.
With his, and not to mention on the lighter side, I would have paid money to be in the audience to listen to his.
Holy,
I know, right?
My gosh,
Yep.
Cracking beers, telling jokes, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would have been fun. So, and hopefully, for his legacy and his family, that will come to fruition at some point.
We have to look back on the many years previous to the good run that the Jets had with Rex Ryan and Sanchez and Mangold, the 2 AFC championships back to back. The awfulness before then, other than the little patch with Parcells, and then since then, to really realize that was a pretty significant time in a pretty shitty 55 years that we've had as Jet fans. So I think it gets magnified even more so by the fact that, generally speaking, it's just not a very well-run organization, to kind of increase the significance of what Mangold and those guys were to New York at the time.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I have this argument a lot with people, the Jet fans, and I understand their frustration. I mean, they should be frustrated. I mean, to not have a playoff appearance in 16 years is unacceptable.
It's sickening.
And
Sorry, guys.
Mr. Bills fan over here. Yeah.
Why is he allowed in that room? By the way, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, at least we got the one Super Bowl there, Keegs.
Yeah.
So, listen. By the way, I have mad respect for the Bills. I covered those Super Bowls. They lost 4 in a row, and I think I think that accomplishment is one of the most underrated, amazing accomplishments in the sport.
Yes,
for
it's true.
Keep getting back there. I happen to be a massive Marv Levy fan.
Yeah.
Had loved interviewing him. I interviewed him the day after those Super Bowls that they lost all 4 of them in the team hotel the day after, and he was accountable and classy and
absolutely.
Getting back to that underrated and understated thing, you mentioned, those couple of Sanchez, people, I feel like with Sanchez, all they want to associate Sanchez and the Jets for is the butt fumble, which is
it's unfair and inaccurate, is what it is.
I mean, I asked the fans, who make fun of Sanchez, wouldn't you rather be living in those days right now with him playing?
Hell yeah,
but four road playoff wins.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing about the Herm Edwards years, and I know there was some frustrations there, but those were mostly winning seasons when Herm was there. But people used to ridicule Herm. I got into arguments with Joe Beningo when he was FAN.
Please don't even.
No, listen. I mean, that's a whole stream. Yes. But I mean, I'm like, dude, think about what this guy has done. I mean, he has one of the best, records among all Jet coaches in history.
Right. Yeah. What did he make the playoffs 3 or 4 times? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, Sanchez was 4-2 in the playoffs. And that was done when he was in his first and second year. I mean, I get it. He was raw. I get it. The defense was fantastic, but you can't. I don't care how good your defense is. You're not going to go to AFC Championship. And by the way, Sanchez played his best in the biggest games. If you look at his numbers,
yes,
he played his best in the playoffs.
Yeah, Mark, I don't ever buy any of the bullshit about, well, he was a clock manager. They talk about Trent Dilfer being a clock manager. The bottom line is you were under the center as the quarterback of a team that went to the AFC Championship, or in Dilfer's case to win a championship. I don't care what you did. You were in charge and you won it. They used to knock Theismann for it, the same thing. But the bottom line is Sanchez was the QB. He was a baby out of USC. He probably wasn't even ready to be a pro yet. And he got us to a place that we're really far away from right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's throw somebody else in that mix right now too. That I think is always, just because the Jets have had so many offensive coordinators. I mean, it's been an absolute revolving door. But I don't think Brian Schottenheimer ever got.
Nope.
This was a guy who was the offensive coordinator for a 20-year-old raw quarterback,
right?
And get to this team, and that's why I'm so glad he's finally gotten his chance to be a head coach, and I hope it works out in Dallas for him.
Well, I can tell you he's a lot better coach than the guy that we have, and I don't mean to be an Aaron Glenn basher, but I watch every minute of every one of these games, and to me, he coached a team to a winning game the other day in a losing performance from his side. I don't think he coached a good game at all, and we're not happy about Aaron Glenn in this room. Me and Chris Monty.
I mean, I love him as a player.
Yeah,
but I'm very skeptical about it working out.
Yeah, what do you feel about that, Mark?
He's taken his bumps. I mean, and lumps. I mean, I thought that between him and his offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand, I thought they literally coached the team to a loss in London.
That's right.
That was one of the most egregiously bad coaching jobs I have ever seen in my 40 years or so covering football.
And that speaks volume because you've seen a lot of garbage.
Yeah, I did cover Rich Kotite, remember? So,
oh, yeah. I'd said that to my Jet fan friends. I never thought it was going to get worse than Kotite. And then the first 7 weeks, I was like, we might be worse than Rich Kotite.
But you've had Adam Gase, you've had Kotite. I mean, the list really goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's been as calamitous under Aaron. And listen, we're only 8 games in.
Yeah.
As it was under Richie. I mean, under Richie, there was just some wildly bizarre shit that was taking place like every week.
Yeah.
That's hard to top. But listen, I am rooting hard for Aaron. I covered his entire career. I love the way he's come up from the very, very bottom, from a low-level scout and earned his way to this position. I think the difficulty here is he's a rookie. He has a rookie offensive coordinator. I think for a young coach has got to have more experienced people around him. And I think that, listen, I think Engstrand had a pretty good game the other day.
He did.
I thought Aaron very much got away with a few things.
Oof.
Sunday, I mean, going for that fourth down on their own 30 on the first series, I get it. You're trying to spark your team, but I mean, the play call. Now, I actually didn't get a chance to get to the bottom of this because we didn't have a lot of time with Fields. It looked on that play that Fields audible to something else.
He did audible, so it was not supposed to be a lateral 5 yards back, but it was still a shitty call, 35-yard line, first play of the game, ridiculous.
Offense 101. I mean, if it's fourth down or anything in short yardage, you don't pitch the ball 5 yards back.
Yeah,
it was a slow developing play, and it's no. I mean, so I don't. Again, because there was so much euphoria after the win, and I was in with Justin Fields, he would have been the one to ask.
Yeah.
Glenn certainly wouldn't have given us the actual answer, but they got away with that. I mean, at 10-0, that was a free 7 points they gave Cincinnati. At 10-0, the way that offense has been playing the previous 2 weeks, I think it's done. I think it's just going to morph into about a 35-13 game or something.
Absolutely.
So, get credit. They hung in. They got the offensive going. Obviously, Cincinnati's defense is pretty bad, but don't take that away from the way the Jets executed.
Yeah.
I did not like the first 2-point conversion the Jets went for either. I mean,
inexplicable.
I don't even understand. I mean, I know there's all kinds of analytics, and you got the whatever they call the sheet,
the metrics guys. Yeah.
I just didn't like that. At that point, you got to get it to with a 1-score game, and they got lucky. Listen, they made it, which is great. They made 2-point conversions, but I feel like you don't go for 2 unless you absolutely positively need it. Much like Dayball screwed up in the Giants game, against Denver the other day, during that comeback. He was chasing the points after his kicker missed PAT, and he should not have done that. But anyway, I think Aaron has a chance to be good. I think players play for him. The fact that these guys played their asses off in Cincinnati when they're 0-7, and it didn't look good in that game, I think bodes well for Aaron.
It does.
He has to tighten some things up. There's no question about it.
Mark, the thing that certainly is disconcerting to me, and I'm sure you as a media member, this holier than thou Bill Belichick act that he has in the post game pressers. I mean, you got to chill out, dude. I mean, these are guys who've been on the beat, right? I mean, they've been on the beat for a long time. Just chill out. I mean, to go ahead and mock a guy for asking, is it reasonable to expect that Justin Fields will be replaced, and then he gets replaced, but he had went ahead and mocked the reporter. I think he needs some learning lessons on that. What do you think of that?
I thought that was a very, very poor moment. Bad form on his part.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, coaches don't kiss our asses. I mean, I don't care how long we've been on the beat, but that wasn't just a legitimate question to ask at that moment. It was the question that needed to be asked.
That's the question everybody wants to know.
That's all we were expecting, right, Mike? Yeah. We were texting about it. That's all we wanted to know.
Right, back and forth.
Yeah.
Aaron is very, very sensitive and petrified about a quarterback controversy, and he's been that way since the preseason. You could just tell he doesn't want to go there, and so that was a sensitive moment for him, and he didn't handle it well, Again, these guys don't, we will always have in some way an adversarial relationship between the press and the athletes and the coaches, because that's just the way it is. We're paid to be critical, but that moment was, that was not good. And it was pretty obvious that, that this guy had to be benched. And, the weird thing was, even yesterday, we talked to Aaron on a Zoom call, and that was my colleague, Brian Costello.
Yeah.
It took over for me after 2010. Kaz asked Aaron yesterday, listen, is it safe to assume that, I know you have a bye, but Justin will start, against Cleveland. And Aaron wouldn't even acknowledge that. He said, well, we got the bye week and blah, blah. I'm like, how are you not going to start this guy after he played one of his best games, not only as a Jet, but in a few years? It's just say the guy's starting, for God's sake. I mean, Jesus. I mean, he's turning something that really isn't much of a controversy into a controversy.
Right.
And even though everybody knows that Justin Fields is going to start in 2 weeks against Cleveland, but Yeah, I don't understand some of the. He has been weirdly combative with the press. His one of his mentors is Parcells. And he talks to Bill a lot, and I know Bill very well. Covered him with the Giants and the Jets, and I would almost hope Bill would. I mean, listen, Bill was always adversarial with us as well over the years, but you have to earn your stripes a little bit, right?
Well, so that's the whole thing, and
Yeah.
you have to go ahead and expect that young players are going to be green and learn they'll learn to figure things out. So I assume that's the same thing, a little bit of a learning curve with the coach. But in this town, with this media, you can't go on like that for long because they will eat you alive. So I hope he learns quicker than not.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a story about that kind of vibe. Eric Mangini, who's one of my favorite people I've covered in the business, wasn't well liked here, but he came here and he was combative and basically said nothing, would give no information, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When he got here, and he hadn't won a damn thing. And, he later figured that out. And, and in quieter moments, he said, I know with me, I spoke to him and he said, look, I came from Belichick. That's all I knew, and I tried to be Belichick. I tried to, be Belichick. And he used to tell me he told me stories Mangini did about how they'd be in New England, and that was when Herm was the coach, and Herm was too much of a giver. He was a TMI guy, which my wife always gives me crap about that.
Yeah.
My wife's like, just shut up, whatever, right? And Herm was that way. I mean, Herm, is a very loquacious guy, and he was very giving with his time with the reporters. And Mangini told me one time in NFL meetings when he first got there, he's like, look, he goes, when we were in New England, Belichick used to make fun of the Jets, and because of how much information he would get out of all the stuff that Herm would say publicly. So Mangini came to the Jets determined not to be that guy who was being made fun of up in New England, his former coach and whatnot. So he tried to be Belichick, and he realized, no, he should just be himself. And he was much better with the media after he figured that out.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if Aaron's trying to be somebody, but I think, he's been here. He knows the media vibe here. It's obviously gotten much more massive and saturated than it was when he was a player, because when he was a player, there wasn't even social media to deal with. So I just think he's come in a little defensive from the start, he's almost like looking for somebody to start something up controversially.
Yeah,
I really do believe that I don't really feel like there's anybody on the beat that has been trying to trick him into anything.
No.
Saying anything bad. I can't say the same thing for the Giants beat. Now, I'm around that beat, and there's a handful of guys over there that are constantly poking and prodding. And listen, the Giants have been a losing organization for a long time, too.
Yeah.
So, reporters get frustrated covering the losing all the time. And, with social media now, everybody's soaked in with the whole thing, right? And but I see some very, very pointed, questions from people on that beat particularly, where they're trying to agitate a little bit. I haven't seen one iota of that with Glenn. Okay, I think he's been treated very, very fairly here for somebody who's 0-7 going into Sunday.
Yeah.
I think he hopefully will soften that a little bit as he more comfortable in his skin.
Mark, he reflects back a lot to his days in Detroit and obviously coaching under Dan Campbell. I think instead of doing that, he should watch a couple of Dan Campbell pressers, because Dan Campbell does have an ability to handle the media. I know it's not the cauldron of the New York media in Detroit, but he still has a way to pointedly answer questions without humiliating, embarrassing, or trying to make the media look lesser. And I think he needs to learn how to do that.
It's funny because Dan came in with that opening press conference, which was freaking spectacular.
Yeah, balls to the wall and all the yeah.
Fight kneecaps off and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he was made fun of for that, and he came out of that, I mean, there's been a few of those, weird press conferences, from some of these new coaches, and they eventually, some of them do, some of them don't figure it out. But yeah, I mean, listen, but what you love about Dan is Dan has always been himself. I mean, that's who he is, the bite the kneecaps off guy.
Yeah.
Never wavered from that. Now, is the way Aaron's been treating the media himself, or is he trying to be too tough or extra tough, so he doesn't want to take any shit, so to speak. I feel like that's it, because that's not really. I don't really feel like as a player he was that combative.
No, he was great with the media back. We were talking about this. He was great with the media. So obviously it's hard. It's a hard situation to
a lot of pressure he's under.
Yeah,
he's come in here to an absolute just a place that's been sucked into the black hole of losing.
Yeah,
decade and a half. He sees these coaches that have come and gone, gotten swallowed up. And so I do feel like he's come in on the defense, a little bit, and and I don't really think it's necessary because I think, if you look back at what was written, I was very, very positive about the hire. I love the hire. I respect him for wanting to come here and right the wrongs that he's felt and lived as a player in this organization and seen since he's left. And he's acting like a guy sometimes who was ripped before he coached a game. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of like I just feel like he's wasting some energy with his defensive posture on things.
Yeah.
And what he doesn't really do, because if you read in the room, you're not getting ripped.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully last week is a springboard for this team to change. And listen, man, we can't appreciate it enough. Certainly we wanted you on today to talk about Mangold, and you did that, and we appreciate it. The next time we have you on, we'll make sure it's all happiness and no sadness at all. But thank you so much for your time.
So we won't talk about the Jets.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about something else. We'll talk about our comedy acts or something. But we do appreciate you, Mark. Thank you for coming on so much tonight.
Thank you. Rest in peace, Nick Mangold.
Mark, do you have anything you want to promote? By the way, any books out, anything like that you want to promote before you go?
I cover a lot of golf, and I don't know where I guess too much light, but no, there's nothing new that I have, but I've written a couple books, and the latest one was something called 7 Days in Augusta, which is I've covered 32 Masters now, and I wrote that when it was about 25th Masters.
Wow.
And it's a timeless book. It's not really about golf. It's about all the crazy shit that goes on in Augusta, during that 7 days. So that's a fun book. If anybody's interested, you can probably get it on Amazon for about $2 nowadays. Right? So,
that sounds awesome.
Cool. It's just kind of Augusta for the week of that Masters week through my eyes and the things that I've seen over the years. And there's some pretty good fun anecdotal stuff in there. So, and again, offbeat, weird stuff that's not necessarily, golf related, if you will. So, I would say that's kind of a fun thing to check out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've had on, in the past 3 years, we've had on ex-baseball players, basketball players. We've never really had anyone to discuss golf on, so maybe I'll hit you up in April if you want to come on and talk some Augusta, some Masters tournament. We'd love to have you back on, Mark.
Sure, that sounds good. We can always get our FU Rory chants going back.
You got it. That's right. I'm in it. So, all right, buddy. Thanks so much, Mark. You have a great night. We'll talk to you down the road. Okay, pal?
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for having me on, and work on that Bills.
Yeah, we're well. Don't worry. We're gonna rough him up in the parking lot.
He's a bandwagon guy.
Like an odd, combo platter in there.
I know. Believe me, it's worse than you think. It's worse than you think. We're gonna have him jump off a table later on. All
right.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. Bye, Mark. Bye. That was awesome. Mark Cannizzaro, cool. Everybody. New York Post legend. No, you're the New York Post.
I'm the New York Post.
I'm the New York Post legend. He is. All right. It's funny. I was just telling our producer, Tony, before the show, sometimes I notice that some of his shows go long. And I'm like, tell these people to end their show.
Wrap it up.
You're only here an hour, and I'm 10 minutes over, which I don't like to do. Yeah. But obviously, we had a lot to go over today. Really, thank you to Mark Cannizzaro for coming on and talking about the legend of Nick Mangold. Thank you to Vanessa Hollingshead. Thank you to Joe Bubblewitz. And, of course, our dear friend Chris Monty.
Thank you for having us on. And please come see us Saturday night at the Brokerage.
Saturday night, November 1st, Brokerage Comedy Club, govs.com, govs.com. Get your tickets. It's a killer show. It's a 3-headliner show. What else are you going to do? Come.
That's it.
Yeah, what else are you going to do? That's it. All right. So, very good. Mike, you have anything coming up out of town you want to promote? Anything like that?
I have some things I'll promote.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. November 6th, I'll be here at Governor's. Right now, it's scheduled to be here.
Okay.
fundraiser here at Governor's. November 7th, I'll be here in the Giggle Room at Governor's. November 15th, I will also be in the Giggle Room at Governor's. So any of those 3 days, Governor's in Levittown. The tickets are all
and
on
just
sale
one
now.
note, November 6th, I'll be at the Brokerage Comedy Club, and there's a chance, depending if the main room is open yet or not, that you might be over at the Brokerage
Yeah,
too,
so
I
we'll
think.
see how it works. But
Okay.
as of now, it's scheduled to be here in the main room of
All right.
Governor's.
So that's November 6th. And Tone, what do you got going before we head out for the night?
December 6th in the Giggle Room.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that. Yeah.
A night with Gov's Comedy Club podcast. A lot of our hosts from various shows will be doing a set, including Herschy and the Keegs.
Herschy and the Keegs will be there.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Great.
So
Really
we
looking
have.
forward
I
to
mean,
that.
listen, you're going to have. I believe Kathy Arnold. I believe Laura.
Kathy
Patton.
Arnold, Laura Patton, Rosie Fiumara.
Yeah.
You guys. Joey Cola is a possibility.
Very cool.
All right,
That's
very
going to be a
good.
great night.
All right.
And tune in to Tony Walker show tomorrow. I'll be on that show.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
it. Knock 'em Dead Comedy tomorrow
Comedy,
at
listen to Chris Monty.
11:30. Chris Monty, Tony Walker, Knock 'em Dead Comedy on govscomedyclubpodcast.com. Again, thank you to all our guests. Any new followers, please, share, like, and continue to watch us. We bring it every week. Next week on the Herschy and Keegs show in studio, we have the great Tim Crompier.
Yeah.
First time ever.
Crompier.
Yeah,
Cromps,
first
I was
time
just with
ever.
him
Yeah, Cromps.
The other night, Cromps is the best.
Yeah,
Wow,
we've
he's
never
coming
had
back to the
Cromps
Packers
on.
career, huh?
And Cromps is coming in, and we're gonna have some fun with him. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. We have. Listen, the guests that we have lined up are going to knock your socks off. We'll talk more about it next week. But for tonight, have a good night. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
next week.
Thank you.